Okay, this is from Genesis chapter 25. Isaac entreated the Lord on behalf of his wife since she was sterile. The Lord heard his entreaty, and Rebekah became pregnant. But the children in her womb jostled each other, so much that she exclaimed, "If this is to be so, what good will it do me?" She went to consult the Lord, and he answered her, "Two nations are in your womb. Two peoples are quarreling well within you. But one shall surpass the other. The older shall serve the younger." When the time of her delivery came, there were twins in her womb. The first to emerge was reddish, and his whole body was like a hairy mantle, so they named him Esau. His brother came out next, gripping Esau's heel, so they named him Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when they were born. So this begins the story of Esau and Jacob's long struggle. And their struggle begins even in the womb, and that's pretty extreme. And it fits a long pattern of sibling rivalry in the Bible. It isn't too much to say that one of the foundational sins and one of the most important themes in the whole Bible is sibling rivalry. Cain kills Abel. Hagar and Sarah's conflict causes conflict between Isaac and Ishmael. Jacob and Esau's struggle is legendary. Then you have the ultimate sibling rivalry between Joseph and his brothers. It took me a long time to realize that this pattern was such an important part of Genesis and an important part of the Bible in general. It's important for Christians to reflect on what this might mean. Now, some people have taken the Cain and Abel story to be the true original sin. They don't think that the original sin is the eating of the fruit from the tree of knowledge, but rather Cain's killing of Abel. Because it's from Cain's killing of Abel that the first cities were really founded, that civilization as we know it was founded. Some support for that view can be found in the fact that sibling rivalry is so important in the Bible. Cain's killing of Abel starts a pattern that continues through the whole of Genesis, affects the rest of Israel's history. I mean, every time Israel has a conflict with one of the other Canaanite tribes, it can be linked back to the patriarchal period. And then it also is important in things like David's story. David's family and the struggles they face are really the stories of sibling rivalry. Absalom and Amnon's struggle is central to the horrors that the David family really faces. So, what is this sibling rivalry thing all about? It's something that should be reflected on and thought about. On one level, it's a commentary, I think, on all human struggle. So that all human struggle, all violence done to somebody else is done to a brother. Since it's the pattern of violence in the early part of the Bible is the pattern of one brother hurting another. Whenever we hurt another person, we can think back on that image and realize that what we're really doing is hurting our brother and sister, that all of humanity is a family. So when Cain asked the question, "Am I my brother's keeper?" people have expanded that view, have expanded those words to mean something general, that we all have to take care of other people. I think that's the right move, especially in line with the rest of the Bible where sibling rivalry becomes so important. So on one level, it's simply telling us that all rivalry is sibling rivalry. All rivalry is about is really struggling with our brothers and our sisters because we're all brothers and sisters. And that's good, and I think that's true, and that's something to hold on to. I think there's another aspect to all of this, and it goes to René Girard. We've talked before about René Girard. Girard thinks that scapegoating is the central sin of the Bible, that the Bible struggles with, that people, when they have problems, get together, they find some subgroup of people or some individual to blame. Their violence upon that person, their blaming that person, relieves community infighting, and relieves their attention with each other and really their tension with God, because then they're no longer blaming God for the evils that take place in their community. Instead, they blame this person. So Girard thinks that the Bible uncovers or reveals this scapegoating process, which really underlies all of society, and that Jesus Christ's sacrifice was about ending or about defeating the evil or the devil that underlies the scapegoating process. And I think that that's an interesting point of view. I think Girardian theology has a lot to commend it. I've learned a lot from it. I don't think it's the whole story. Girard certainly thought it was just about the whole story. I don't think it's the whole story. I do think it's an important story of the Bible. I do think the scapegoating theme is a very important aspect of the biblical message. And I think understanding how God overcomes the scapegoating demon is part of the story of the Bible. There's even a demon that names the scapegoat Azazel. And I think that this idea that God is doing battle with this demon manifested as scapegoating is something important. And I think that helps us understand the sibling rivalry theme in the Bible. It certainly was important to Gerard. I think it should have been supremely important to Gerard. Because in many ways, our brothers and our sisters are the first people we scapegoat. We do something wrong, we blame them. We set them up. Will even sometimes kind of frame our brothers and our sisters when we do wrong things. We have conflict with our parents, and our conflict with our parents gets turned upon our brothers and our sisters. There's limited resources, sometimes even in a family, a sense that there's a limited amount of love. And so brothers and sisters fight as a working out of the tension that a person feels with their parents. So the first people we scapegoat in life is our brother and our sister, and I think that is what's going on in the Bible. Cain has conflict with God. He blames Abel as a way to relieve himself of that tension. He kills Abel as a way to relieve the tension between him and God. And from that first murder, Cain builds all modern civilization and all modern culture. All Ishmael and Isaac, they had parental conflicts. Their parents had conflicts, and those parental conflicts are visited upon the children. They scapegoat each other. Isaac and Esau, certainly. Rebecca, they had strife with their mother and their father. Jacob with his father, Esau with his mother, and that strife was visited out on them. They scapegoated each other to relieve the tension with their higher power. And ultimately, this is about the tension between us and God. We visit the violence we would like to do to God on other people. That's a scary thought, but I think it's central to what's going on. And so whenever we have sibling rivalry and tension in our family, I think we need to ask ourselves, is this a matter of scapegoating? Are we committing one of these central sins of the Bible? And as we explore how Jesus enters into that scapegoating process, Jesus really becomes the scapegoat. Jesus is God saying, no, visit that violence on me. No, take me and save the other people. And so God enters into this process. He becomes the brother we kill. He becomes the brother we blame. And once that happens, we really can't blame our brother anymore, can we? The freedom is to realize that the person we hurt, whenever we hurt anybody, is God. And if we base our peace among each other and our peace with God on violence to our brothers and our sisters, then we violate everything God intended. We murder God anew. We murder the image of God within ourselves. That's something a long time ago I realized, that I could no longer be involved in the murder of the image of God within me. In the end, the ultimate rivalry we need to be freed from is the rivalry between us and God. Only Jesus Christ can accomplish that. Amen.